Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice. Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss, a VO boss. Set yourself up with business owner strategies and success with your host, Ganguzza, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry. Rock your business like a boss, a VO boss.
Hey guys, before we get going, I want to talk to you about some amazing new Bossalicious products we have that are really going to help you up your game. For both beginning and advanced VO talents, we have our Boss University.
This is like our podcast on steroids, guys. This is me and Ann at our best, doing what we do, putting our boss brains together, right? And giving you all kinds of webinars and ways that you can improve your bossness and bossability and make more money.
Go to voboss.com and just click on the shop tab. Welcome everybody to the VO Boss podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, along with my amazing, intelligent, wonderful, awesome bossy, Gabby Nistico. Hey, Gabby.
Keep going. Tell me more fabulous things about me.
Well, Gabby, there's so much fabulous about you.
Aw, thanks.
So much. I'm always saying how fabulous you are.
Aw, you too.
Thank you.
We're just so fabulous together.
You know, Gabby, I have had so many people ask me questions about this voiceover industry and how to make a living in it. It probably would be good for us to talk a little bit about the economy and how it affects our voiceover industry.
Look, at the end of the day, right, it's all everybody cares about. It's money. Mm-hmm. It's how do we make money? How do we make enough money? How do we make more money? Because it is a business. But I think the economy, or the idea of the economy, plays a really big role in two things. One is people's perceptions, and the other, well, it's not so kind. It gives them an excuse.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
The state of the economy, real or otherwise, can give people sort of a way to just place blame elsewhere.
It's maybe a form of denial for people who maybe aren't looking at some things in their business like they really should in order to really progress and advance. Before you point the finger and blame things in the economy for not, allowing you to grow in your business, I think you need to really open your eyes and take a hard look at what it is that you're doing in your business to grow it. One of the very basic essentials is really understanding, do you have a product to sell that is of value to people, that people find value in? And part of that is a mindset. What type of client finds value in voiceover and in what you do? If you're not seeing those clients or finding those clients, maybe it's time to shift directions and try to look for the clients that do see the value in your product. That is, I think, number one when you're forming a business. Usually you form a business because you have a product that you think will benefit others. And that really has to be where that, I think, initial mindset comes from, that you're providing something of value to others. And if others do not see the value in it, you then have to shift the product.
What you're talking about really is supply and demand. So there's your supply. The demand piece is it in demand enough right now that I can make a substantial living with it? That, I think, is the ebb and flow that goes on in voiceover all the time. The past 10 years have been really, really interesting. 2008, of course, we had the big market crash. We were in a true recession at that point, and that lasted for right about 4 years. I mean, it was really 08 to 12, maybe even into 2013, that we were feeling the effects of that. Now, something I found fascinating, because of what our listeners know of the two of us and the types of voiceovers we typically both do, right? You being the more corporate voice actor and me being the more commercialized voice actor. When the economy started to shift in 08, commercials disappeared. And the reason for this is, of course, because when things get tough and when the economy truly takes a dive, advertising budgets are the first thing to be cut. All companies will initially figure out where can we afford to scale back. And advertising is usually the quickest solution. Right about the same time in voiceover, we had a lot of people saying things like, oh, there's a finite number of commercials. Where the money is corporate, and it's in narration because there's so many of those types of projects. It's limitless. Well, on most days, I consider commercials to be pretty limitless as well. There's no shortage of advertisers. There's no shortage of advertising options. But it was indicative of where the economy was at that moment. Yes, commercials were very scaled back, so it kind of made sense. So a lot of voice actors had to shift gears.
Also, I'm going to tell you, corporate budgets were slashed too. So in the true recession back then, in a bad economy, as a girl, right, I always say, okay, so what's important, hair or nails? And so when my budget is slashed, right? What stays and what goes?
Big decisions.
It's kind of the same thing. I would say back then in the true recession, we had to kind of find a way to still continue running and operating our businesses. And interestingly enough, you and I both survived. What was it that allowed us to kind of ride the waves through that bad period of time in the economy?
Not only did we survive it, there are tens of thousands of people that didn't. I referred to it for a long time as the purge.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, we really did have, every Yahoo with a microphone coming out and going, oh, I do voiceovers. There were all these unqualified, untrained people and core studios and all kinds of things. So many of them disappeared and dropped off because it simply got too hard. They didn't have a way to be competitive. Now, ironically, we're kind of coming back around where we've swung in the other direction. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing that again. There's sort of that resurgence, and every Yahoo with a microphone wants to get into voiceover. The reason that we and a lot of our colleagues survived all that is because we were competitive and we were highly skilled professionals. We had the great studios. We had the skill set. We had the training, the professionalism, because that's the thing. Clients aren't very forgiving, right?
Right.
They're not going to take a risk with someone who's not as skilled. They want the best that they can get for, at that point, the most reasonable amount of money.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to say for like the umpteenth billionth time, I think, that here is the time when having some business savvy and understanding what's going on around you and in the industry is going to be that thing that will help you to move through it and to be successful. I think this is not, when times are bad, I don't think it's the time to be necessarily working on performance. It could be the time when you really got to take a look at your business savvy and your business acumen and really work on being able to ride that bad period out in your business. Whether the economy's in a recession or not, it's just something that you need to have and you need to develop. And I think that there are so many people that will just so quickly say, I can't make a living. It's whatever they want to point the finger to. People don't want to pay fair rates or it's the pay to plays or whatever it is. I think they're looking at that, and that becomes what you mentioned in the beginning. It becomes an easy way to kind of excuse maybe what's going on. I'm always telling people to keep your eyes open. You need to understand not just what's happening, but you've got to really take a look around you and take a look at how the industry is shifting. Take a look at advertising. Take a look at the market. Take a look who's buying your services and see what it is that they're requiring and really try to shift your business and your product around that vision.
It's how you avoid becoming the old crusty curmudgeon entrepreneur. We have all met that person.
The crusty curmudgeon.
The crusty curmudgeon. Because the crusty curmudgeon, not necessarily just in voiceover, it's in every industry, right?
Oh, so true.
Anytime something innovates, anytime something changes, a new technology, whatever it is, there's always that one person who's going, oh,
it'll never work.
the state of this economy, this thing, they're killing us. They would rather complain than take action.
Yeah. You have to be really open to change and to evolve. I saw it all the time, Gabby, when I worked in tech, when people just didn't want to adopt new technology. And it's just the same concept, really. the fact that our industry is evolving to more digital, more online, it's something that is not going away. The technology will evolve with or without you. And so if you decide not to evolve with it, well, then, you're probably going to be left in the dust. Don't have negative, toxic thoughts about it, because that's just going to affect you, your performance, and your business, and people wanting to hire you. You really have to roll with what's going on. People's refusal to accept technology is what holds us back. If we did not have the masses of people that kept pushing back at the advancements in technology, think about where we would be today.
You said something brilliant there. In 2008, when all of the chaos was happening, in my office, I think we had about, I don't know, maybe what I want to say was like one good solid business quarter where, man, we could see the writing on the wall, right? Things were getting lean and numbers were going down. And after, I think, hearing for the umpteenth time, both out of my own mouth and my staff's mouth, hearing, well, the economy, it's really bad right now. I went, okay, you know what? New rule. We are never saying that phrase again. We are never to utter that, because we're playing a blame game. And that if we play that game, there is no solution. We're throwing it up in the air and just going, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it.
Exactly.
And screw that noise. So I went, okay, we're not doing this. Since then, I have never said those words. We hear it. We see it all the time, right? Whether it be the economy, the state of the industry, the turning tide, whatever you want to call it, right? So now people have like fun hashtags for it,
Yeah,
We've got things like race to the bottom. And no, you will notice that the ones who are thriving and a lot of the folks who are doing really, really well never even acknowledge that as a factor. What they acknowledge is, I have to adapt. I have to change some of the things that I'm doing, and I have to change the way I'm potentially interacting with or finding my clients.
Gabby, I think sometimes too, you have to be open to the possibility that the market as it evolves, the industry as it evolves, may have different needs and different requirements. And think about when MP3s came out and all of a sudden it was like, whoa, the bottom fell out of the music industry. How did the music industry survive that? It evolved into digital music. There's still a product there.
There was a crawl, and there was also some resistance there. That is a great example. But think about what happened, right? So the MP3 hit. Everybody went, oh my God, this is it. This is the end. And then a whole group of people went, no. You can't play an MP3 in your car. That'll never happen. Remember those days?
Yep, I do.
It's all about what happens when you're on the road. CDs are going to be fine. We're going to be able to keep. And what happened? Then all of a sudden one day you could put an MP3 in your car via your phone. Usually when I talk about resistance, right, it's a good thing. We're going to rail against. We're going to fight this out. This is resistance against the tech, against the tide. Don't be that person.
Exactly.
No. That's a terrible idea.
Even in this battle, there's lots of good things happening with the evolution of the digital technology. So it's not just online casting now. Now we've got all sorts of other sites and casting sites that are coming up so that we can level the playing field. I don't think, Gabby, what we're saying is to not take a stand against things that we don't feel are right. I think we should always fight for fair rates. That doesn't mean that you should sit back and blame the industry and the pay-to-plays or the online casting sites as being something that's taking away your income.
No, and you're right. Fighting for what's right and what's just and for fairness is a separate thing, though. This is minding your business, your store, and really making sure that you are doing everything possible to keep your business healthy during a not so healthy economy. Those that are complaining and those that are a little bit too politically invested are hurting.
Absolutely.
The others are not. They're doing just fine.
And it's not just this industry. This happens in every industry. It's every industry. And we have the most control. This is the cool thing, Gabby, is that we as entrepreneurs, we owning our own business, we have the capability to evolve and change easier than anyone. I am not restrained anymore by working for somebody else and hoping they will evolve. I'm going to tell you something. I know I have a good friend of mine who literally is looking to switch jobs because he doesn't feel that the products that this company is putting out there are evolving with the times. So the company's putting out products that probably in 10 to 15 years won't exist. He just wants to get out. Keep your eyes open. Take a look at what's happening and educate yourself.
Well, sure. I've had to switch gears so many times in this business.
Me too.
When I first got into it, and radio imaging being such a huge part of my income back then. And you know what? When everything took a dip, so did radio. Radio has been doing poorly for a number of years now. I had to really change strategies. I had to really move away from that. Even though it's still my first love, I couldn't sit there and like beat a drum that no one was going to listen to.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, hello, other avenues and other ventures. Yeah. So I think this is a really interesting episode because it's almost like a part 2 to our episode about adaptability. This is definitely a part of that. They kind of go hand in hand. But the message and the thing that we really, I think, are trying to get across with this episode is that the economy is going to ebb and flow. That's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yep. If you look at the history of the economy over the years, this is what happens. And so you have to, as a business, ebb and flow with it.
Yeah, you can't just sit back and blame it and allow this idea, this very, I don't know, almost mythical like idea of the economy take over your brain and become a reason to stop growing and to stop adapting.
You are controlled. It is the number one thing to remember. You are the entrepreneur. You are in control. It is up to you to change and evolve. And you are in no better position than you are today to take a look and assess and move along with it, because we have every capability within our own power to do it. Go ahead and be a boss. Be a boss and evolve.
Well, and take a cue from traditional industry as well. In many corporate settings, when an industry starts doing poorly, instead of members of that industry, various companies dividing, they do quite the opposite. They band together. And they create collectives and little coalitions. And that is one of the ways they evolve together to ensure everyone's survival.
I'd like to give a shout out to our amazing sponsor, IPDTL. You too can record like a boss. And find out more at ipdtl.com.
For all things boss, you've got every social media you can think of. We're on it, including YouTube. And, of course, there is our fantastic freaking website. I just love our website, Anne. It's so great.
I do, too.
You did a great job. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we are really proud. I think, honestly, our website is such a great supplement. So, you guys, if you haven't visited the website recently,
please go.
Every episode that we produce, we've got takeaways, we've got tweets, we've got all sorts of cool things that you can learn even more by visiting our webpage.
And we've got gear, and we have special webinars and classes and just all kinds of stuff to really help bolster your business knowledge and keep you out of some of these business ruts that we're always warning against.
All right, guys, have a great week. Kick butt and be a boss.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your hosts, Ann Ganguzza and Gabby Nisterko. All rights reserved. Ann Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
The reason that you and I and many of our colleagues survived the downturn is because we were extremely professional and competitive. Oh, no.
I'm so sorry.
Bless you.
I tried to warn you, but I couldn't stop it.
That's okay.
I tried to pronounce your last name correctly.
Fogiel.
Fogiel. Is it Fogiel?
Fogiel.
Fogiel.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm gonna screw. Fogiel. Simone Fogiel. Simone Fogiel.
Yes.
Is that okay? That's yes? Okay. That's good enough.
Yes.
Fogiel. Fogiel.
Fogiel.
Fogiel. Fogiel. Fogiel.
Fogiel.
Fogiel. Fogiel.
Yes.
Simone Fogiel. Simone Fogiel. Gabby, you're good? My brain is... I'm annoyed.
Brain.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it. I got to get over being annoyed. I'm not even sure what I'm annoyed about right now.
Don't be annoyed.
I know.
It's okay.
Freaking hormones. That's what it is.
Oh my God, gotta air out the booth. Holy woo! And I have to pee super bad. I'm on with Ann. We're just recording a couple episodes. I saw that you called before. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay.
Yeah. All right. I love you.
Love you too.
Tell Ann I said hello.
She can hear you.
Love you. Jerry called me too, and he said the same thing. So
Yeah, no, I know. We do. We both do. We pass our husbands back and forth. Go figure.
Yep.
Okay. Say roof. People always love that.
Roof.
Paint a roof.
Paint a roof.
Paint a roof, and then send it to Nancy Wolfson because she'll crawl out of her own skin.
Welcome, everybody, to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, along with my lovely, fresh as a spring day, boss bestie. That sounded bad. It sounded like a douche commercial.
Yeah, that really did sound
like
kind of douchey.
Fresh as a daisy.
This episode of VO Boss is brought to you by Summer's Eve.
Massengill. Oh my God, that was too funny. That's an outtake.
Because isn't that what it's all about, Ann?
It is. Boss up, for sure. We need to... I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Just ask me the question again and I'll agree.
Hi, my name's Gabby, and I'm a boss.
And now we're going to have to take a break because Anna has to go make sure that she pressed record.
Oh, dear crap. Okay.
I know. See, we're so alike. This is why you're my VO Boss bestie.
You are the yin to my yang, baby.
That's it. It's the truth.
It definitely looks weapons grade if it's coming in on an x-ray scanner. Hold on. Stop! What is the problem? Shut up! Animals. Baby. Where is Juana?
Come on up.
Where is Juana?
Where's Juana?
Juana.
Juana.
We're waiting on Juana.
Juana. I need Juana. Can I do the intro like we always do? Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. Woohoo! All right, wait, I'll be serious.
The time episode. Are you working around the clock and why? The good, the bad, and the guilty. We'll safeguard each other's hypocrisy.
There you go. I'm ready. I'm ready for your name, Simone.
Kick it off.
All right, here we go.